Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of a Frugal Athlete podcast. Today is just going to be me. Figured, we've had a lot of guests come on the show over the past couple years, over 200 episodes to be exact. But today, or this month specifically, is July 22nd, 2022. About a year ago, NIL came into place. And if you don't know NIL, I'm not saying you're living under a rock, but I'm saying you are out of the loop. NIL, name, image, and likeness, it has taken NCAA by storm. It's allowing collegiate student athletes to make money off their name, their image, and their likeness. So it's been a little over a year, not even a year to be exact, because we're still in the same month when it was finally announced. And a lot has happened. A lot has happened. Some good, some bad. And it's been quite the learning process. So, with this episode, I kind of want to go around and talk about the 6 things that I found, over the course of what's happened and transpired over the past year that are, most essential. So, I don't want to say it's going to be a quick podcast, but it's just going to be a reminder of, how far we've come, how far we still need to go, and some of the things that I think we need to focus on as a group. People in the space, people looking to get into the space. I might have to touch on that because there's a lot of people in this space that, let me not say shouldn't be in, but you can tell they're not in it for the right reasons. So we're gonna talk about that and yeah, get it going. So no intro, no music, just straight to the information, and hopefully you all enjoy. But before I get into it, please take some time to subscribe, whether you are on YouTube. Share with a friend, leave a review if you're listening on the podcast. It helps us. It helps us get discovered. It helps us continue to climb up the charts. It helps me stay motivated that you all are continuing to follow along and really take hold of this information that you know myself and the team do a wonderful job sharing. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. So, NIL came out 2021, July 2021. A couple of states, took charge. California, Texas, a couple of the SEC schools, and NIL allowed for the collegiate student athletes to make money. Simple as that. You're able to market yourself, you're able to do brand deals, you're able to have a job, you're able to make money as a collegiate student athlete. That wasn't always the case. Shout out to Ed O'Bannon for being a pillar in this NIL history. That's what it originally came down to. UCLA former not many UCLA champion in the past. He saw himself on a game. He was like, "Where's my money?" Ended up taking it to court. Ended up winning, and then now, some odd years later, NIL came into play, and now it's allowed for any student athlete, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, junior college. You can make money. So what does that mean? A lot of people are coming in and around and saying to every student athlete, you can make money. You have the opportunity to make money on your likeness. Well, studies have shown that while you have the ability to make money, not every student athlete has made money. There's still, I don't want to say restrictions in the sense of that if you don't have a large brand, if you don't have a large presence, if you don't have a means to make money, you're not making money. NIL is the ability to make money. You're not just now you're getting a paycheck because you're a student athlete. It's giving you the ability to go out and find these deals, the ability to start your business, the ability to do speaking engagement, the ability to create your own merch line. So I don't want that to get construed because there's been talks about, athletes need to get paid. Yeah, some people say yes, some people say no. NIL is a vehicle to get paid. It's not you're getting paid, you're getting stipends, you're getting no. NIL is a means to get paid through the work that you do on your own. With that being said, as a student athlete, you have to be proactive. So, as I get into my first thing, I just wanted to make that clear. One of the biggest things that I've seen with NIL is I don't want to say the lack of financial literacy, but it's the lack of emphasis across the board when it comes to financial literacy. You have schools that want to keep their hands clean. They don't want to get involved because of, you know, potentially getting in trouble, potentially getting sued, giving the wrong information as it pertains to the student athlete that they're trying to consult with or help. You don't have the marketplaces that are offering enough financial literacy. That's not conducive to their business model when they are finding ways to make money to get commissions or percentage of deals that they're able to curate. You have agents that aren't necessarily allowed to be agents because of the NIL stipulations, and they're focused on planting the seed so that they can essentially make money from brand deals or essentially make money down the road when the athlete potentially goes pro. So there is a void when it comes to financial literacy being taught at these organizations, these schools, for these athletes. These athletes don't have an ecosystem or a database or a directory where they can get financial literacy tools and tips and insights on a consistent basis outside of the one-off workshop or the seminar. So this is where a frugal athlete comes in. This is where other organizations that are doing such a great job, you have organizations like Team Altimus, you have organizations, and I'm not generalizing everybody, because there's different organizations and platforms that are really diving into finding ways to offer these financial literacy resources. And it's a combination of the athletes having to seek it out too. But from my from my vantage point, a year in, I think there isn't enough, and I think there needs to be more. It's easy to tell someone, all right, you're able to make money. These are ways you can make money. This is how you need to make money. But it's harder to say, all right, now that you've made this money, or when you're going to make this money, here are some things that you need to do. Here are some things that you need to look out for. Here are some ways to make sure that you're managing your money properly. And this is where we have been able to come in, as an organization with the Frugal Athlete, to provide content, to provide resources, to provide coaching. But there needs to be more. The ocean, the sea is wide open, and the more we're allowed or able to provide financial literacy tools, the more our student athletes are taken care of down the road with these opportunities of making money, managing money, and multiplying their money, which is our mantra. Two, compliance. So it's very difficult in the NIL era to understand compliance. There's different states, there's different legislation, there's different rules as it pertains to what you can represent, how you can represent them, all these different stipulations, and it really depends on the region that you're in and the school that you're at. And what I've seen is, and shout out to NIL Network because they're doing a great job of trying to compound all this vast information, all these resources under one ecosystem, under one platform. So make sure you check that out. But compliance is a big issue that has been, I don't want to say hindering NIL, but it's something to make a note of in light of everything that's going on. Yeah, so compliance is something that definitely needs to be figured out, whether it's across the board within leagues or like regions, or across the board between levels. So D1 versus D2 versus D3 versus NAIA versus junior college. What does that look like? And it would be helpful from a competition standpoint if compliance was universally even. So, for example, if I go to a school in Florida, I'm able to do different things than if I go to a school in Nebraska. So, does the school in Florida have an advantage versus the school in Nebraska? And this is what we're seeing now when it comes to the bigger sports in collegiate sports. With NCAA football, with NCAA basketball, both on the men's and women's side, and it's really going to see a shift in, I don't want to say competition, but the migration of where people are going, where people are transferring to, because of compliance within NIL as a default. Three, marketplaces. So marketplaces are obviously marketplaces where people are able to find brands and companies and opportunities for themselves or for their client to make money. And there's a marketplace for everything. It's almost like marketplace overload. And for a student athlete, if you're listening to this, you may get overwhelmed. There's so many different marketplace platforms specific to NIL, but specific to you as a creator and influencer. So marketplace is not something that has been just sprout out the ground. There's been marketplaces for creator economy and influence economy for a long time, but now because of the NIL space being so unique, there's specific marketplaces that are doing a good job of finding deals for their collegiate athletes. What's difficult though is managing all these marketplaces if you're a student athlete or if you're an agent of these athletes that are looking to get deals. So my suggestion for you, whether you're on, and these are just marketplaces that I know and that I've either worked with or have contact and relationships with, whether you're on open sponsorship or market price or icon source or match point or open doors or influencer or many of the other platforms like mogul, my suggestion is to pick two, maybe three marketplaces that suit you and go from there. It's tough to manage this marketplace and that marketplace and this marketplace. You end up having too many marketplaces and you're getting, whether or not you're getting deal, but it's hard to manage. And as a student athlete, you have school, you have sports, you have social life, you have now NIL opportunities. You have to make sure that you have an aggregated funnel to make sure it all makes sense. My fourth thing, audit your team. As a student athlete, as someone that now has to think of themselves as an athlete CEO, as a brand, as a big entity, you have to make sure that the people that are there for you are there for you. Not because you're able to make millions of dollars at the collegiate level, not because you're able to get brand deals and different things like that, but because they have your best interests at heart. And when you're working with people in the business space, a financial advisor, a lawyer, a brand manager, whatever that may be, it's important to have someone to audit those people within your setting, within your ecosystem, because you never know where mistakes are going to happen. But if you're proactive about it, you can definitely do some good things. And don't think you can do it on your own. There's a lot of different things that you have to worry about when it comes to some of the deals that you're doing. Understanding the scope of work, understanding the deliverables, understanding the different nuances that come with the deals that you're doing. And it's important as a student athlete to make sure you're ahead of the games when it comes to that. 5, you can make money outside of brand deals. You can make money outside of endorsements. Obviously, with NIL, we've seen a lot of athletes in the more engaged sports make quite a bit of money. There's different entities that are willing to spend big bucks for these collegiate athletes, but there are multiple ways to skin a cat. So as a student athlete, this is my public service announcement that there are so many ways you can make money. First and foremost, you have to focus on building a community, and then you have to understand on what your X factor is as a student athlete. You can make money writing a book about your experience from high school to college sports. You can make money starting a podcast. You can make money starting a podcast. You can make money creating a merch line. You can make money filming your workouts. You don't have to find a brand to get behind you to make money. You can make money by leveraging your capital, and not capital as in money, but social capital, network capital, intellectual capital. You may not see it right immediately, but over the time of your span in college, if you're planting enough seeds, when you're out of college, opportunities will arise. So I think when we think of NIL, a lot of us are thinking, all right, what can I make now? What can I make now? What can I make now? And while that is good and well, for a majority of student athletes, that's not going to be the case. So how can we think long term in the sense of, all right, I'm going to plant seeds, I'm going to network, I'm going to figure out ways to leverage where I'm at so that when I'm done playing or when I'm ready to capitalize, I'm in a good situation. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And then lastly, as it pertains to NIL and what we've seen over the course of the year. You are a student athlete for a reason. So keep the main thing, keeping your grades up and keeping your performance high. If you do those two things well, you're already ahead of the pack. NIL is just a bonus. It's an add-on. It's not a guarantee. It's not a mandatory thing. There's been athletes in circumstances where they're not going to go to a certain school because they don't have a promise of them making a certain amount of money before they even step foot on campus. And while yes, you have to leverage your name, you have to leverage the work that got you there. Because of the ability to make money really anywhere as an NIL athlete, go to somewhere that's going to help you maximize you as a student and you as an athlete, and have a plan in place for that. When you get into that program or that school or that university, you're doing the necessary things that can help you navigate and maximize your opportunity as an NIL student athlete. But understand that you got to keep your grades up, you got to keep your performance high, you got to make sure that you're balancing and time managing your schedule. You got to make sure that your mental health is is paramount, your emotional, your physical health, and then focus on NIL. Once you establish those things first and foremost, NIL will actually be easier for you. See, a lot of things people have it backwards where I gotta find NIL first and then I'll figure out everything else. No, you keep everything priority in a good ranking, in a good file, and then focus on NIL, and the sky's the limit. So those are some of the things that I've learned over the first year as an NIL someone watching from the sidelines. Uh, it's been great to be a part of this movement. It's been great to highlight some of the good things that have come from it, some of the bad things that have come from it, where it may be going in the future. I'm personally excited, and I'm excited to help. I think that's the biggest thing, to make impact, especially as it pertains to financial literacy and being efficient. With the Frugal Athlete, we help number of athletes, student athletes, and organizations looking to maximize understanding financial literacy. So, with that being said, that's all we got this week. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a review. Make sure you rate. It helps us get discovered. Share with someone that can use this information. NIL is a year in, but let's see what happens year two. I'm excited. I know you guys might be excited. But that's it for this week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed, and catch y'all later.